Frank Herbert's Dune is one of the most influential science fiction stories of all time, inspiring countless adaptations and expansions across various media, including movies, miniseries, comics, and books. With Dune, Adventures in the Imperium, Modiphius Entertainment has brought the intrigue, politics, and high drama from the Dune universe into tabletop role-playing. The stakes are high, and every decision can have far-reaching consequences. The Dune RPG is set in the expansive universe created in the books, focusing on the political intrigue and maneuvering of the great houses. Rather than positioning players as lone, low-ranking adventurers, the characters will take on important roles within a noble house. The house creation rules cover everything from small minor houses all the way to the great houses. The game emphasizes collective storytelling within the context of noble houses, echoing the themes of power, betrayal, and destiny that fill Herbert's novels. The core book covers the Imperium structure, detailing key factions such as the Bene Gesserit, Spacing Guild, and the Sardaukar, alongside major planets like Arrakis. The setting material is richly detailed, capturing the feudal and mystical aspects of Dune, while leaving a great deal of room for player-driven narratives. The game uses Modiphius 2D20 system, an in-house system that is used in RPGs such as Star Trek Adventures and Conan Adventures in an Age Undreamed Of. To give a basic rundown, you have skill checks. Players will roll two 20-sided dice, with opportunities to roll more with resources like momentum, aiming to roll under a target number. So in this case, 1s are the best roll and 20s are the worst. You have momentum and threat. Successes generate momentum, which can be spent by players for additional advantages. On the other hand, the game master can introduce complications using threat, and these can escalate the situations within the encounters and include other problems for the characters to deal with. Extended tests and intrigue. The game places a very heavy emphasis on conflicts that are not traditional combat, particularly those involving politics and espionage. Characters engage in both strategic and individual actions. These add extra layers to the scenes by introducing intrigue and political maneuvering. And yes, combat is still a thing. It just isn't always the main focus. This system overall is one that we at Kritfayle definitely enjoy. It does have flexibility and rewards clever approaches over brute force. The dice mechanics work well and can create tension, excitement, and drama while still keeping things relatively straightforward. Character creation is directly connected to the house and all the characters' personal philosophies. Rather than the usual attributes, characters are defined by drives. These are core motivations, duty, personal truth, etc., and they help to shape the character's decisions. Skills. Like most games, these are the skills that the character has acquired. Traits. These descriptors reflect the character's history, talents, and other influences. And assets. These are equipment, contacts, resources, etc. These characters in a noble house might be spies, warriors, or advisors. With each character taking on a different role within the house, this creates a good mix in party compositions. The house creation mechanic is a team effort, and everyone takes part in building their house's history, resources, and rivals before the campaign begins. Now, let's get a little bit into the actual gameplay experience, which can be broken down into a few distinct categories. Firstly, intrigue and political drama. Dune as a setting leans heavily into political maneuvering, and many of the power struggles are done so from the shadows. Unlike many RPGs where combat feats and abilities are the focus, Dune prioritizes shadow play, negotiation, and grand strategy. Sessions can often revolve around diplomacy, sabotage, blackmail, information gathering, and deal-making, making it ideal for players who enjoy intricate role-playing and layered storytelling. Now, as for the combat in this RPG, when it happens, is fast and deadly. A night session will not be entirely taken up by a combat encounter. In part, it is a reflection of the setting, partially the rules, and partially placing an emphasis on strategy over violence. Individual conflicts can happen, but larger ones are handled a bit more abstractly. And finally, another aspect of the gameplay experience is house management. The house is an important part of the game. It is here that characters make decisions for their house, as well as responding to external influences and situations. Characters have their own motivations and backstories, but those are also tied to that of their house. The decisions and reactions they make can decide elements like their house's standing, reputation, the alliances they can make, and commercial contracts. This can add a unique element to the game and help ensure that the character's decisions have some weight on a galactic level. And now, the book itself. The core book features excellent artwork that does a very good job conveying their idea of the Imperium. The layout is overall very clean, and the rules are clearly explained for the most part. However, like any RPG, that will vary reader to reader, and any book this size is going to have a few rules that may make someone scratch their head. It does have some helpful sidebars and tries very hard to give players a clear view as to what the style of Dune actually is. The writing is excellent, but like any book based on an IP, it does have to walk a fine line. It needs to cover enough detail that new players can learn all the factions and important information without becoming overwhelmed, but it also has to have enough depth and be accurate enough for deeper fans of the setting to not feel that it is a watered-down beginner's guide. Now, when we were looking at this game as a whole, we were able to identify some strengths and weaknesses. So, let's start with the positives. Firstly, it is very faithful to Dune. The game embraces all of the themes, complexities, darkness, politics, and philosophy of the setting, and what it both stands for and tries to achieve. It is also a unique RPG experience. It's a different style of RPG where social intrigue and political strategy are the focus rather than combat. The book itself showcases high production values, beautiful artwork, and solid detail of this very rich setting. And we saw very flexible storytelling. The 2D20 system enables cinematic player-driven choices on both a personal and house level. And as for the areas we thought could maybe use a little improvement, there's a bit of a learning curve. Like all systems, the 2D20 system has its learning curve. It can do things very differently from some of the other popular games on the market, and while it's not difficult per se, it can take some time to come to grips with. Secondly, this is a strength for some and a weakness for others. This game is maybe not the best for combat-oriented players. The lack of ability-focused tactical combat that many RPGs have may leave those that enjoy that as their primary gaming focus to find the setting and game a little less fulfilling. The house management system, while offering a lot of depth, it does require pre-thought and a team effort. Again, this could be something that players may love, but it can be a bit of an add-on if the players and GM do not cooperate well together on that aspect. And an echo to something we found a strength, it is very faithful to Dune. The game embraces all of the themes, complexity, darkness, politics of the setting, and what it both stands for and tries to achieve. This is both a positive and negative. It really just depends on what sort of experience players are looking for. So, in conclusion, Dune Adventures in the Imperium is a very well put together RPG that does successfully capture the essence of its setting. Its intrigue, philosophical depth, and grand political struggles are all there. The game tries to reward role-playing strategy and storytelling. While it may not appeal to players seeking a lighter experience, it is perfect for those who enjoy deep themes in their games. For fans of Dune and players who love scheming, diplomacy, and storytelling, this RPG is a must-buy. With the campaign books and guides, the setting is expanded, and your characters are not locked only on Arrakis. From entering the courts of the Emperor, fighting to see your houses rise in power and influence, to surviving the dangers of the politics of the great houses, Dune Adventures in the Imperium gives a great experience in one of sci-fi's most unique settings.